music. I don't look at it as rock or R&B or that kind of stuff. I just look at it as music, you know. When I feel sorry for anybody who only listens to one form of music.
Unsigned, you're listening to the Freeza Block Show. Local, milehighunderground.com. Unsigned, local artists, unsigned artists. Music you may have never heard before, music you'll want to hear again. All right here on the Freeza Block Show.
Welcome in. It is the Freeza Block Show, milehighunderground.com. We're so very happy to have everybody listening in and alongside. We have a great show, special show. One of Denver's hardest working bands is right here, or at least one half of the band, indeed. It is Marcus and Hannah from... Oh, I had to do that, didn't I? Marcus and Hannah from Scarlet Canary, indeed. Thank you guys so much for coming on in. We really appreciate you guys, man. So
yeah, thanks for having us.
Indeed, man. Let's give you guys some applause for coming on in. Yes, indeed, there we are. You guys, wow, like I said, you're one of the hardest working bands we've had here in Denver. You guys are always doing stuff, always on the move, not only here in Denver, but you guys are doing regional stuff and really getting your names out there. And congratulations to all of that, man. You guys, your hard work is starting to pay off.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, you guys have 3 shows coming up this weekend. You have tomorrow, you guys are going to be at the Zodiac in Colorado Springs. And then Saturday, all the way in St. Joseph, Missouri. So make sure, folks, all the folks listening in at St. Joseph, Missouri, come on out to Cafe Acoustic. They will be there Saturday knocking it down, and it won't be quite an acoustic show, but it'll be fun. And then right on here, back here, Moxie and Greeley opening for the Butcher Babies, and make sure to check that out. It's going to be really good, man. Awesome stuff, man. Great, man. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have been up to this last, last 6 months, man. And we haven't had you on my show for a while. So.
6 months, that's a long time.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of stuff to cover. Huh?
A lot of material. Yeah, just been touring. We had some really great sets of shows in June. We went on tour with our good friends here in Denver, the Anchor. We were out for a month, and we did the Midwest and the West Coast. And we did, what was it, Rolly? 28 or 32 shows in 30 days? I don't even remember.
Yes, 28 shows.
28 shows in 28 days.
So almost
27 days. 28 shows in 27 days.
28 shows in 27
days. One day
days.
where we actually played 2 shows.
That's right. So we did that in June, and then we were very fortunate. We got to go play Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin, opening up for Avenged Sevenfold and Stone Sour, a bunch of really great bands. Yeah. That was really cool. We played 4-hour-long sets that day.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
God, you guys don't even have to really practice, I guess, because it seems like you guys are just like playing all the time, and it's just like it just happens, right?
I always need to practice.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. I mean, I said almost, almost.
Yeah, this one's not perfect.
Not in the slightest.
It's all good, man. Again, man, you guys are very good friends of the station, and again, thank you guys so much for being on in here. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the poor guys that couldn't be here today, man. Alan and Marcos. And what they do with the band, and they are very integral. I don't know, intricate as well. I don't know.
No, they're not
very
needed.
important.
It's okay. You're talking some great game for them, but they're not needed. The power team is here right now, so we're good.
That's right, indeed.
Yeah, we're the number one team.
Yeah, we're the number one
team. Indeed. It is Roll Tide and Hannah, one half of Scarlet Canary. And again, thank you guys for coming on in here. I love calling you Roll Tide. As a matter of fact, at one of the shows, it was like a little quiet spot. And I was like, Roll Tide! Really loud. And you're like, must be an Alabama fan out there somewhere. That's good stuff,
There's
man.
Always a Bama fan out there.
Oh yeah,
always.
Well, it's hard not to be, man. But I guess unless you hate somebody that wins all the time.
I mean, 16 national championships, man. That's a pretty hard thing to.
Careful, you don't want to get him talking about this because he'll just go on.
It'll turn into a sports show on Mile High, and go a mile high on the other side there. But man, I like the fact that you guys have been, like I said, working really hard and doing lots of touring, lots and lots of touring, and opening up for big name acts, man. And you know, the very first time you guys opened up for a big name act, can you remember who it was and how you guys kind of felt, like, you know, when you guys got it finalized?
I think our first one that we did was Smile Empty Soul. He wasn't in the band at the time.
I wasn't in there.
It had to be either Smile Empty Soul or Saliva. It was one of those. It was cool. If it was Smile Empty Soul, which Alan would be here, and if he were here, he'd be yelling at me because I should know these things, but it all blurs together after some time. But if it was Smile Empty Soul, then that show was our guitar player at the time, Swamp, which he's not in the band anymore, obviously. He loves that band, and it was his dream to open up for them. So that was really cool that we were able to give one of our band members basically their dream band to play with.
Yeah.
That was something really cool to give, you know, someone who works so hard alongside us. But
well, tell us about, like, you know, the first time when you all as a band, or, you know, even with Marcus involved here, you know, the first time you guys were, like, you know, kind of confirmed, you know, with playing with a big act, you know, somebody that maybe you've always wanted to play with. I mean, obviously it's a good feeling, but, you know. I
think it would technically lead forward, wouldn't it? You weren't in the band technically.
That was
Ryan's last show.
We call him Slut. Because, long story.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
We'll do that bell here later.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was actually his last show with the band, and I ran the merch table that night.
He did, yeah. He was our merch girl.
I was the merch girl. Sorry, Josh. Sorry, Josh. I took your job.
Yeah, Josh Watkins is our official merch girl.
Right.
Don't be fooled by his, you know, his male anatomy and
sexy.
beardiness.
Yeah,
he is actually our merch girl.
Guy.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that was the first actual national act that all four of us were together in a band for. Like I said, Rolly didn't play that show, but he was there, and it was Ryan's like going away show.
Yeah.
But that was a cool one. That one was with Lost Point and Lola Black and Glass Delirium, and that was the first time I sang Separate Ways with Glass Delirium on stage.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, obviously they're not a thing anymore, but
right.
That was a really, really good night.
Yeah, lots and lots of good nights since then as well, indeed. Yeah. Hannah, tell us a little bit about, you know, sometimes you do guest spots and stuff, especially on stage with other bands, and tell us how you like doing that, or, you know, and who you like doing it with the most.
You know, I prefer to do stuff with, like, my friends. A lot of bands have asked me to come up and sing with them and do different things, whether it was recordings or, you know, whatever it is. And I'm never going to say no to a band, because working with somebody new is a really great way for me to, at least me as like a musician, to get better. You get used to working with the people that you work with all the time. And sometimes you get stuck in a rut and you don't push yourself. But I've been very fortunate that most of the people that I've worked with recently have been either good friends or have become good friends. My most favorite one recently, which I was so stoked they wanted me to do it, but I got to go up and sing with our really good friends from Sioux City. It's a band called Calling Grace.
Okay.
I got to go up and sing with them, and we got to do a cover that it's a cover of a cover, but it's most recently was done by Lizzie Hale and why am I blanking right now? Stone Sours singer, has no neck.
Corey
Taylor.
There you go.
There we go. I was like,
they just got to say the no neck part.
Terminator neck.
I'll be able to tell you.
Sorry,
Still waiting on a
day.
two-man fight.
I know, right?
Still, we called him out at Rockfest.
Yeah, we did. He didn't say anything, but we know he heard us. But I got to go up and do a cover with them live for. They went on the last 3 dates, or second to last 3 dates, or whatever. Of our tour that we went on with the Anchor. I got to go up and sing with them, which was really cool. So
that is cool. And, you know, I really appreciate the Anchor, and oh man, I kind of wish I'd have been there. No, I do wish I would have been to that show. I remember I was really sick that weekend, and I wanted to, because it was like, and I was telling my friends, I said, you don't the vocalists in both of these bands will blow you away, and especially who they are. I mean, you know, and that's kind of a little bit gimmicky, but it's cool and it works out good. I mean, you know.
Oh yeah.
And you know, tell us about how fun that was. I mean, obviously, you know, you kind of did, but you know what I mean? Like, you know, I mean, when you first heard of the Anchor and stuff, you know, were you like, wow, this is what I'm talking about?
No, actually, we knew them from Of Ashes days, where there was just Corey trying his best. And Lindsay was on bass doing backup screams, not hardly doing anything, just playing bass.
Side note, I actually tried out for the Anchor.
He did.
Or when they were still of Ashes.
Of Ashes.
Right.
Before I even knew who Scarlet Canary was.
Mm-hmm.
And they said no.
They told you no. Well, you know
no.
what? I think it all turned out for the best, man.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It is Scarlet Canary. They are, well, at least half of Scarlet Canary. It's Marcus and Hannah. They are in the studio. And before we keep going on and asking questions and being silly, we're having a good time in here. I'm going to play a single they came out with last year. It's called Don't Be Afraid. Tell us a little bit about this song if you want to, and then, and then we'll play it.
Yeah, it was actually the first one we wrote off of this new album that we released in May. And it's all says it all in the title. It's about not being afraid of things, whether it's a blockade in front of you in your personal life or taking that leap or quitting that job or whatever it is. And it's just about being the best person you can be and not being afraid.
Excellent, man. Scarlet Canary in the studio, milehighunderground.com. Oh, I guess it's not going to play, huh? There we go. That is obviously not the song. It looks like we're having a little bit of, I hope we're not having problems with the whole system here. I'm going to go with another song. This one is called Armor. All right. And hopefully it'll play. And if not, well, we're going to have to just trudge through the week or the rest of this show. There we go.
We can move on, but not weak enough to die. How can I respond when the light it cuts like a knife? What have I become? I locked myself away, too scared to believe that people can change. These walls stay on my armor. These walls stay on my armor. My bleeding heart beats very far. The battle was not in vain. Stuck between hope and hell, I finally found a reason to live. Confess all my sins, they say I'll find some relief. How can I explain the pain's the best part of me? What have I become? I locked myself away, too scared to believe that people can change. These walls stay on my armor. These walls stay on my armor. The God that I walk is what you try to lie. The walls on my soul continue to fly. I won't take the pain. These words protect me. I'm enough. I'm enough. My bleeding heart beats very far. The battle was not in vain. Stuck between hope and hell, I finally found a reason to stay. My bleeding heart beats very far. The battle was not in vain. Stuck between hope and hell, I finally found a reason to live. Finally found a reason to live. What have I become? I locked myself away, too scared to believe that people can change. These walls stay on my armor. continue to play. I won't see the pain. These words protect me. I'm enough. I'm enough. My bleeding heart reached journeyed far. The battle was not in vain. Stuck between hope and hell, I finally found a reason to stay. My bleeding heart reached journeyed far. The battle was not in vain. Stuck between hope and hell, I finally found a reason to live.
Scarlet Canary in the studio. Indeed, it's Marcus and Hannah. That song was called Armor. After we tried to play another one, I don't know what happened with that. That was kind of weird. But anyway, that one was called Armor. Let's talk a little bit about that, what that one means, you know, since we kind of missed out on the first one.
Yeah.
That song kicks ass, by the way.
Thank
really,
you.
really
Thanks.
good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's actually it's the second to last track on the album. But it's the whole album is a concept album about the stages of grief and how you get over a tragedy. And that one is Testing, which is when you have kind of come out of your depression, come out of your sadness, and you're trying to learn to live again. And it's literally what it says. It's testing your environment, testing your new surroundings, and seeing how you can function in them.
Tell me a little bit about the writing and stuff behind that. Is there a lot of personal, you know, because from what you just said there, it sounds like there might be some personal issues that, you know, you get spring from, you know, you get your inspiration from.
Yeah.
Is that pretty much how you go about? And is it you that writes the lyrics for the most part, or do you guys kind of share it up?
The lyrics to me, in the past, we've had other band members come in and kind of help or do different parts, but this album in the
that is a faux pas right there, by the way.
it's Alan. It's literally the man that's supposed to be here, but
Well,
he's
all
not.
right, but that's all right. Yeah, by the way, Alan, the guitarist for the band, indeed, had a
Sassy.
rough day today. He's
Yeah,
also your
sorry.
part-time mechanic. And
Yeah.
Not just for their cars, but for the band too.
the guy's amazing, so let's give him some props too.
Yeah.
And real quick, before she continues on with the lyrics deal, that bell is for a hit or a shot. So Scarlet Canary fans, go ahead and break it on out. It's a hit or a shot. It doesn't necessarily have to be weed or alcohol, but just a little something to get you right on through the end of this interview and through your life.
Yes.
Indeed. No,
Yes.
so go ahead. You were like you said, you were saying that the lyrics were personal.
Yeah.
Sometimes sometimes you had help, but lately in this album, it's a little bit more you, right?
Yeah, well, this is the first band I've ever been in. So this is my one and only band. And when we first started, I didn't really have not the ability to, but the experience. So I relied on my band members who had a little bit more of the experience of writing and composing, you know, melody lines and lyrics, kind of helped me out. But in the last two albums, I really haven't had very much help. None in the last one. And all of us, though, the whole album was kind of theme-wise was written because all of us had a really tough year. The year we were writing it, it started out good, and then it just went really downhill really fast between.
Well, that's me.
Right?
That's this year for me. But
Yeah.
that's a different
No.
story for a different day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you know, so a lot of the inspiration and like I said, you know, I guess again, inspiration coming from your personal experiences and, you know, all from having a rough time. And it kind of seems like, unfortunately, that the best lyrics and all that kind of stuff usually comes from somebody's personal heartache or from hard times.
I'm a big supporter of
That's
if
kinda
you,
sad.
I know, right? I don't think it needs to be sad all the time, but I think that if you're trying to write about things you don't know about, it just comes off as fake. One of my favorite examples of this recently is Pretty Reckless. She got a lot of heat for the first couple albums she came out with when she was talking about, you know, doing drugs that she's never done and having sex with priests and other just various things like that. And you can write about whatever the hell you want. And I really like Taylor Momsen. She's pretty talented.
Well, if you put it out there as fiction, as if you're telling a story, and you actually put it out there that way, I mean, you know, because a lot of times I've spoken to a lot of hip hop artists and stuff, and they also talk about, well, there's a lot of truth. You can go into truth in the lyrics and what you're really experiencing, or you can tell a story, but you have to establish that it's a story first. Otherwise the people will, they'll dog you, like, well, what are you talking about, something you have no experience with? So.
Yeah. Well, and I just feel like everything comes off a lot better when you actually have emotion in it, when you can connect to it. Whether you're playing an instrument or singing or whatever it is you're doing in the band, you have to be able to connect with it.
Indeed.
So.
It is Marcus and Hannah. They are Scarlet Canary, at least one half of Scarlet Canary. Great stuff from them. Again, one of Denver's hardest working bands. You guys travel. And well, I'll tell you what, that's only a part of the hard work that you guys put in. I think the other part of the hard work is the actual support that you guys do. I've been, I go to a few shows. I don't go to tons, but you guys are there quite a bit. If you're not performing, you're there supporting, which is, congratulations to you guys, man. That is really, really kick ass. Tell us about the philosophy you guys have for support.
At least for me, it's what I would want other people to do. If we're going to play a show and we want people to come out, then we can't get mad at them when they don't, if we don't go out and support them when they ask.
Right. It's like people are, other bands and stuff are selling tickets. So we have to do it all the time,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I always try to make it an effort to take the day off, or like at least take the night off from work, or doing other band stuff and try to make it out to different things. And that goes for all of our band members. We all try to make it out whenever we can, to try to support, to try to watch. We want to see our scene grow.
Yeah, indeed. And I think, believe it or not, I think the audiences are getting better too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean,
contrary to what Westward just put out. What the hell, Westward?
Oh yeah.
No, but
what
you know
shows
what?
are you going to?
Yeah, no doubt. But you know what? That's funny is that they're that I like to think that sometimes that when people go to shows, they just go to see their band and then they leave. I think, like I said, it's getting better. I think a lot of folks are sticking around because after their band and their friends or whoever they're there to support is done, they'll stick around and be surprised at the talent level of the next band that's up and really start to kind of get into the scene. And I think more and more people are starting to do that. They're starting to stay and they're starting to discover and tune into things like this and, all kinds of stuff. We've got all kinds of really starting to mushroom with the radio shows and all this stuff to try to get you guys out there. So
yeah,
indeed, man.
Well, we play tons of different scenes, and it's crazy to watch some of these scenes where the culture's so different. Like, I didn't think Denver had a good scene. It's always what local artists say, oh, our scene sucks. I can tell you, we've literally played like 35 or 40 of the 50 states. We're playing over 100 shows this year. I promise you, Denver scene is just fine.
Yeah.
And the fact that people
did really, really well.
Yeah.
Here.
The fact that people will, just down to even if they can't afford a ticket to a national, going to a local show isn't a second-rate thing. It's a preferred thing for a lot of people. So
you know what, and it's definitely a preferred thing for me. Not only because I'm really into the local scene and surprised by how well the talent is and everything like that, but because the talent is so good, the price is right. You know what I'm saying? The price is definitely right for trying to get into a local show and seeing pretty much the same, or real close to the same level talent as you would for a national act.
Yeah.
Indeed. So awesome stuff. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about your touring and your establishment in other markets, because you guys are kicking ass here in Denver and a lot of folks know you, but you're also kicking ass in other markets too. So let's talk about that a little bit and how you guys are really kicking it, getting it going there.
Some bands do it certain ways. I've talked a lot about the Anchor. They're our really good friends, and they were super fortunate that they made their, covers viral, and they kind of springboarded off of that and made their original music just as successful. But we don't, at least for us, we've never had that kind of luck. We've never had that kind of, and I mean, it takes a lot of hard work for that too, but we've just never had that kind of break. So for us, it's always been about getting in the van and driving. We spend hours and hours and hours in that minivan driving. And that's how we've done it, is just continuing to play the markets, to talk to people, to get there, be the first band there and the first band or the last band to leave.
Tell us about a couple of the cities that you guys are really starting to get a good following in.
Yeah. Some of our favorite places to play, we play the I-80 corridor quite a bit. So anywhere from Salt Lake over to Iowa, up the 29 corridor, up through there, up into the Dakotas and Minnesota and stuff like that. And we just started playing there this year. Hadn't really gotten the chance to, but Wisconsin's amazing. Fort Atkinson, wow, we play a bar there called Hijinks, and they're incredibly nice to us. And the fans are insane. We played Rockfest, which was in Cadott, Wisconsin, and then we played Fort Atkinson, and some people that drove from the far corners of the state drove to Fort Atkinson on a Tuesday night for the start of our East Coast tour that we started, or that we did in September. Literally drove for a Tuesday night show and packed the place out for us. We couldn't even believe it. It was
nuts.
It was an insane
That's so
show.
cool, though,
Yeah.
man.
So,
I mean, and you know what? That's got to make you guys feel extra special when you're going to some place that you're not from,
Yeah.
and they're there to see you. That is amazing, and that's
Yeah.
shouts out. It's hard work, man.
More
It's
than
hard work
anything,
paying off.
it's like a big family. I know that's cliche to say, but when we go and play markets like that, I don't get excited that the bar is going to be full. I don't get excited that we're going to sell merch. I don't get excited, that people aren't going to yell at me. Venue owners and promoters aren't going to yell. I get excited to see my friends. And, I have really great, great friends. All of us do, all across the U.S. And, it's not like people coming out to see you. It's not like, oh, I have to deal with this person because they buy tickets. For me, I'm just excited to see my friends again.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. It's Hannah and Marcus. They call him Roll Tide. One half of Scarlet Canary. And yes, indeed, we're going to go into another song. This one is called Antidote. Tell us again where all this music can be found, so folks can go ahead that are listening for the first time, can get to your stuff.
Yeah. You can buy it from our website. That's scarletcanaryband.com. We have our music up there, both digital and physical CDs. You can also get us on pretty much any online retailer,
Apple Music,
Apple
iTunes,
Music, Amazon.
Spotify, Pandora.
Yeah, you can listen to us for free if you want on Spotify and Pandora.
Right. But
just make sure you share it.
That's
on
right.
YouTube and
Make
stuff.
sure to get it out there. Indeed.
Yeah.
Scarlet Canary, give them a thumbing and a liking on the Facebook page. And then again, that will go to all of their social media and all their websites and all the music. So make sure to give them some love. They are Scarlet Canary. It is Hannah and Marcus. I'm going to play this song called Antidote. Tell us a little bit about where that came from and, just break it down a bit.
That one's a little rough. That one is the phase of anger. And I actually wrote that one right after my good friend Danny killed himself. And it was my inability to deal with what he did. And I actually used a few of the lyrics from his songs and kind of nestled and hid them in with my lyrics.
And for the folks who don't know, she's talking about Danny Pappas. He was in here a couple times, and he was a great guy. And again, I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah,
but,
it's kind of the point.
Well, there we go. Scarlet Canary. It is Marcus and Hannah. This song is called Antidote right here at MileHighUnderground.com, the Freeza Block Show.
Checked out, don't care about the world around you. You loved and lost and made you cool. Just too hard to bear. Face reality. Lost causes don't need sympathy. This bitter pill I swallowed, rotten to the core. The violent thrill that follows is the only cure. And the more I hate, the more I take. The antidote is my escape from what you've done to me. Your poison remedy. Misused your envy proves that you're no angel. Can't say what makes your pain so damn special. just too hard to pay. Face reality. Lost houses don't need sympathy. This bitter pill I swallowed, rotten to the core. The violent thrill that follows is the only cure. And the more I ache, the more I take. The antidote is my escape from what you've done to me. Your poison's remedy. Die! Die! This bitter pill I swallowed, rotten to the core. The violent thrill that follows is the only cure. And the more I ache, the more I take. The antidote is my escape from what you've done to me. Your poison's remedy. This bitter pill I swallowed, rotten to the core. The violent thrill that follows is the only cure. And the more I ache, the more I take. The antidote is my escape from what you've done to me. Your poison remedy. Your poison remedy. Die!
Sorry, we kind of got into it here a little bit. That one was called Antidote. We are here with Marcus and Hannah. They are one half of Scarlet Canary. And yes, indeed, we are really kind of breaking it down a little bit, chopping it up during this song. And Hannah was bringing up some really cool stuff during the song and talking a little bit about, some inspiration that you bring for some other people. You know, how when you do perform, you don't realize all the people that you touch, the people that have listened to your music that you have no idea. You walk down the street and pass somebody that they don't know you, but they've heard your songs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you were starting to tell us a little bit during the song there about some girls and stuff, some kids.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything against kids. I don't want any of my own, but yeah, it's
You do that one more time.
yeah, double
ups.
double up. Yeah, there's a it happens more and more, which most musicians that play a lot of shows will get this. I'm not special,
Right.
but I didn't think that I would have. Like I said, when I was starting in this band, it was just, a drinking project with a music problem is what it was,
Right.
So it wasn't, I never thought that any little girls would come up to me and be like, oh my God, I want to be like you. I want to be a singer. I want to, play on stage and stuff. And like, it makes sense because when I was a kid, I wanted to do that. So I'm like, oh, they were just like I was when I was a kid, but it's totally different on the other side.
Yeah. And,
So-
and it probably surprises you, but when people or kids, see, I mean, even people my age, whatever, when they see you on the stage, you're a little bit larger than life.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes even you'll see, like, when you guys are off the stage and people have seen you already on there, they're kind of a little bit, intimidated to talk to you and things like that because you are larger than life up on stage.
Yeah.
So, and it's really cool to see that, young kids and stuff see that and they want to be like you, man. And that's really cool to be an inspiration. Marcus, you feel like you're a little bit of an inspiration for some young drummers out there or anything like that? Or I love the face. I love that face.
There's been one or two the past couple of years that have reached out to me and said that they find me inspirational and my playing inspirational, and I love that. I think it's great, and I really try to encourage people to actually get into playing and get into studying.
Not drumming though, it's expensive.
It is it not?
It's pretty expensive, yeah. It's probably the most expensive thing I've ever done in my life.
Play guitar, you can buy talent there. You can be like Scott Yule and have a computer play it for you. You know,
Hey,
there's
there
all
you go.
these things you can do.
Indeed.
So
Love him,
Yeah.
man. Shouts out to Scott Yule. Yeah, indeed.
But yeah, there's been a couple out there that have told me, you know, like I really find you inspirational, and you know, gone down that whole line. And like I said, I really like I like to encourage people to keep doing it, keep pushing at it, keep trying to challenge yourself and challenge like how you perceive things and what you try to do with your music.
Excellent. Now, coming off of that, tell us a little bit about all the work that you put in. Like, you know, when you were a kid and you started drumming, you weren't the drummer you are now, right?
It was noise when I started.
Hell, you was no offense, buddy, but you were noise before you like when you were started playing with us too.
Yeah, I mean, it had been a little while since I had, you know, gotten behind the kit when I first started with these guys.
He was in bands like they were called Rape the Remains and things like that. So I mean, he was make as much noise as quickly as you can. Was like, never mind the metronome, just play everything all at once. Like that's what, you know. Not that you were bad. I'm just saying like that's the style they like to do. So he came in and tried to, or when he auditioned for us, and he learned some of our songs, and I was like, good, because the stuff that he was like, hey, how about this, Bill? It's like, and it's just not. It's not.
So do you enjoy playing a little bit more of a harder, faster style, or you kind of tone it down now? I mean, you know, tell us a little bit.
Honestly, yeah, I back in the day, you know, my teen years, when I was in high school, stuff like that, I was playing in
lip ring.
a bunch of, I had the lip ring, and my hair has always been curly, so I haven't been able to like really like. I've been way too lazy to straighten it.
Oh, you look good. You
you
got the real good rock and roll hair thing going, man. It's like, you know, you're only a few inches away from superstardom. On the hair, at least, man. Indeed, man. But
yeah, used to play a lot of like, definitely like harder metal, death metal, stuff like that. When I joined these guys, I really dug the sound that they were going for. You know, they gave me like the old albums, like Birds of Prey. And
that album doesn't exist.
Where's Josh when you need him? No, Birds of Prey, and there was To the Heart. I really liked that one when I first heard it, and I thought the drums were really great. And I decided to, during the live show, kind of make it my own. You know, no offense to the previous drummers on the other albums or whatever, but I felt like it needed my touch. And so I guess the past 3 years, I've been kind of, so to say, perfecting my own touch to those songs. About half of the album Arise was written by the previous drummer. I kind of finished writing it. I think we're still writing it in studio too, or at least
one song.
Ghost was, yeah. And then the whole Perspective album, those are all my original drum parts.
It's a lot of Marcos.
Help, but I played them. Okay,
it's a lot of Marcos.
Help, and Marcos saying
Marcos'
like
Marcos' job in the band.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about Marcos, by the way. And he couldn't be here either, but he plays bass for the band, and I guess he would, I don't know, be called the resident bear. He loves to dress up.
Chewy.
Yeah, there we go. Yes, indeed. And you know, tell us a little bit about him, and you know, just real quick, you know, we'll sum him up, I guess.
Well, he's an okay bass player.
No,
he's
most okayest.
World's most okayest bass player.
Indeed.
No, he's he actually, believe it or not, does a lot of our writing. He went to school for composition and vocal. He wanted to be a vocal teacher, and you know, he just didn't quite get through college with it. Had some voice issues and things like that, but he's got the composition side. Between him and Alan, they have a full music degree.
Well, there you go.
So he's our resident, you know, pick up the pancake gent writer. Yeah, he does all of the heavy songs on the album are probably written by Marcos, and all of the 80s rock or like more catchy songs on the album were probably written by Alan.
Radio rock.
Yeah, more
Parentheses
radio
around
rock
quotes
stuff,
around that.
probably written by Alan.
Awesome.
So,
Well, all right, man. We have Marcus and Hannah in here. They're talking about one of their members, Marcos. Indeed, they are Scarlet Canary. I have another song here. This is called Spectral. Now, is this one of the more radio style songs, or one of the more?
no, this is a kind of a marriage of the two. This was the one on the album that Alan and Marcos got together and wrote together. So it kind of became a little bit of both. It's
a hybrid,
our favorite
if you
song
would.
to play live.
Good stuff. And this song is called Spectral. It's Scarlet Canary. Marcus and Hannah have been nice enough to join me tonight. And here we go.
This place is soaked in memories. They walk with quiet footsteps when no one can see. I feel you there beside me. Hear you call my name. I am haunted by what we became. We left our voices high, the stars ignite. Please write the ending this time. Our story told. I can't let go. Bring me peace, redeem my soul. Lost souls, they never go home. We cling to them like vices, ashes and stone. I feel you there beside me. Hear you call my name. I am haunted by what we became. We lift our voices high, the stars ignite. Please write the ending this time. Our story told. I can't let go. Bring me peace, redeem my soul. You gave me nothing. All I wanted was peace. You gave me nothing. We lift our voices high, the stars ignite. Please write the ending this time. Our story told. I can't let go. Bring me peace, redeem my soul.
Great stuff. Indeed. That was called Spectral, indeed. And of course, that all of these songs that we're featuring today are from the Perspective album. So again, when you guys go to the Facebook page and you give them a thumbing and a liking, go to that website and check out the music from Perspective. Came out in May. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
So indeed, have you guys been getting a lot of good positive feedback off of it so far?
Yeah. This album's been the best album that we've put out, both for us and as far as feedback goes. We've done really well with it so far.
Well, you know what? Every song I played so far, except for the very first one that was a technical issue on our side. But great stuff. Love the vocals, Hannah. I mean,
Thanks.
Do you leave sometimes with just a sore throat? I mean, you gotta have it.
No. I try to not do that, because if I leave with a sore throat, I probably did something wrong. And
Tell us a little bit about, some of the prep that you go through and just the stuff to protect your vocal cords and all that.
Yeah. I drink a lot of water, more water than pretty much everybody in the venue combined usually. And that just keeps my vocal cords really flexible, and it also helps with the screaming. I've been told by Lindsay that I don't scream how I'm supposed to scream. Not as in that I don't do it correctly, but that I don't do it like a typical screamer does. I put all of the force and all of the tension in my diaphragm and keep it out of my neck and my vocal cords. So all the sound comes from my diaphragm and then in my mouth. So yeah, it's basically just an over-exaggerated rock. Yeah, I can talk right now. Rock yell. Yeah, so when I do it that way, then I don't have any problem switching back and forth from screams to singing, which is one of the things that a lot of people talk about when they do both, that it's very difficult to go back and forth and maintain the note quality.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with that.
That's fantastic. So. And that's why Hannah is who she is. Indeed, lead singer of the band Scarlet Canary. And she is here with Marcus, the drummer of Scarlet Canary. Great stuff, you guys. Thank you so much for coming in again. Scarlet Canary. Check out their album Perspective and give them a thumbing and a liking on their Facebook page. If you haven't heard of Scarlet Canary, you have now. Make sure to check them out. They're going to be at the Zodiac in Colorado Springs tomorrow. Then they're going to drive all the way out to St. Joseph, Missouri, and play at the Cafe Acoustic on Saturday, and then run on back here like it's no big deal to the Moxie in Greeley and open up for the Butcher Babies. So make sure to check them out. 3 great shows, a fantastic weekend. How do you guys prepare for a big weekend like that?
It's not a big weekend.
It's not a big weekend.
I don't mean to say that as like a oh, we're so big. It's just not. A lot of times we'll do 14-hour drives for one show. I mean, it's just not a big deal for us.
Marcus, how do you keep yourself busy during those 14, 15-hour drives?
He's always on his phone.
The entire time.
Even when he's co-piloting, he's on his phone.
When I'm out of service, I'm not on it.
He's still on his phone playing games.
Well,
unless you get fake jewels for conversation points, he doesn't pay attention to you.
Indeed.
No, I try to stay up. We have a rule in the van: 2 people awake and 2 people asleep at all times, and that just deters from hitting deer and getting in accidents and people falling asleep at the wheel.
A lot of late night driving through cornfields. And interstates with no lights and gas stations for miles and miles.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Hours and hours. We always try to get a good mix of music, because I swear I've listened to the same Pandora stations for like 2 years now. So every local band that we play with, we try to get a demo or an album from them, and
we follow all of our friends from all over. Our friends in Chicago, they're a great band called Genotype. They just put out a brand new album just a week ago. It's so good. So I've been rocking that one pretty hard. But yeah, we listen to all kinds of crazy good music from local bands, and it just keeps it fresher for us driving. So
well, it has to. And you guys, again, like I said, there's hours and hours of driving, and that's amazing to me. That's a lot of work. I mean, Do you guys ever come up with any music or anything like that in there? I mean, you know, when you guys, or is it just really just driving and just kind of focusing on what you guys are up to next?
It's pretty much napping and driving.
Yeah. No, that's good. I mean, you know, you never know. Tell us a little bit about, you know, some of the creative process that goes into, you know, when you guys do make songs or music and stuff. And, you know, I'm not sure if you guys are doing anything right now because you guys
we're
are
always
still
working.
Okay. You guys are always putting some new stuff out there. And
Yeah.
I know you guys, I love you did last year, you did, or maybe it was a year before, you guys kind of did a little cover for Frozen, and that was fun. And you do a lot of little stuff like that for fun too. That's just not really on the albums, but just something that keeps you guys going. So
We will never sell it.
No. Well,
It'll always
look,
be for free download.
Yeah,
It's
and
just for fun.
you can pay for the rights and all that stuff, but I just don't want to deal with that. So we just do it for free. And we're very fortunate and lucky. We've got some friends that run their own studios, so we can go in and like Corey from the Anchor, he's got a great studio called West Archer Studios, I think is what he calls it. And it's super new. And he's just kind of getting his portfolio together, but I'll come in and do a cover with them, and then he'll do a cover for us. And, you know, so it's kind of cool that we can work together on that kind of stuff. But
something for fun though, right? Indeed.
Yeah.
But when it comes to doing the Scarlet Canary stuff, you know, is it like, do you kind of already have like a little bit of an idea? Like, let's say you guys are going to start a full new project, okay, and you guys are done with the touring, whatever. I don't know how you guys do it. Yeah, okay, I don't know how you guys do it. So, but when you guys are starting a new project, does it start out with, you know, you've got an idea, or you've got a set of songs already lyrically or music, or, you know, how does it kind of start off?
It varies.
Yeah.
So Marcos and Alan, the strings section, they will, a lot of times they will work together or work separately on their own to create essentially riffs or parts that they like. And then once they are done kind of doing their thing together, they'll have like a specific part of a song, whether it's a bridge or a chorus or a verse or something like that. They'll kind of play with it for a while, and they'll shoot me ideas what they hear as far as like drums go, like, oh
yeah, it'll be like, here's a song, I kind of feel like it should be like heavy on the toms here, or here's this riff, I want it to be a really angry song. So, you know, blast beats are like a good, or we're really good about, or Alan's really good about assigning a color to a song, which is crazy.
There
I know.
No, that's,
but
makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, so that'll kind of give you, it'll like, he'll say, okay, this song just feels very red to me, feels very angry, feels very red. And so then Rolly kind of knows, oh, okay, cool. So I need to play something a little bit more up tempo or upbeat. And if he comes up with something cool and they feel like they jam on it, and we usually get together, we get together, even though we play so many shows, we get together on Wednesdays for band practice. And a lot of times when we're at band practice, we just kind of go through the stuff that we haven't played recently, and then we write. And they'll jam on stuff, and if something syncs, they'll record it, and then I take it, and then from there I get to write lyrics and melody lines and stuff.
So there is a process, but it varies sometimes, and I like that, man. But you know, you guys can't be, you know, doing, you know, there's a formula, but sometimes you guys got to play around with it.
There's a lot of iPhone recordings out there. That's all I know. I get sent one probably once a week. And it's just cool to see how their ideas mix with my ideas, and then everybody brings it to the table, and we kind of essentially fight about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously. So Armor is a perfect example of this. Armor was Marcos. It was his brainchild. He comes to us and he's like, hey, do this. And we're trying to teach Alan that first riff, the da 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 da. And the only reason I can do that so well is because I literally I was like, Alan, listen, da 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 da.
We're sitting there like
yeah, over and over and over. And he just could not get it. And God, he is such a good. Alan is he's a jazz guitar player. I mean, he's classically trained. I mean, he knows how to do this stuff, but gent and him do not work sometimes. And that was a prime example of all of us sitting there like okay, let's try again. And I was like, screw this, guitar sucks, I'm gonna go do something else. And he's getting mad. And But yeah, so it just depends. It just depends.
It does indeed. It's Scarlet Canary in the studio. Hannah and Marcus, one half of Scarlet Canary. Indeed, indeed. Yes, they say the good half. I think they're all awesome as a whole, indeed, and as a half. I love it, man. This the last song we're going to play is called "I'll Be Okay." If it sounds good, we're I mean, you know, without having any problems like the first song. Break it down for us. It sounds like it's pretty self-explanatory, but then again, everything's subjective.
Yeah.
So
it's the first song off the album. It's the first phase of grief, which is shock and denial. And like you said, for the title, it's pretty self-explanatory. This one was cool. We did a music video for this one. We recorded it live at Rockfest in July. So all the footage for that music video was recorded in one of our 4 sets at Rockfest.
and make sure you check out that video. It's on the Scarlet Canary channel, right, on the YouTube. So make sure you check that out too and give them a subscription as well. It is Scarlet Canary. This song is called "I'll Be Okay." I hope so.
Reach out, I find myself cold and disconnected. A voice that echoes here. Come back to life, you're not alright. Whoa, the lie I hide behind. My faith will be rewarded. I scream my name, it seems I've died. Remind myself to pray. Slipping away, feel the ice going deep inside of me. I'm slipping away, slipping away. I'll be okay. Follow the fracture lines, broken ice revealing. Inside the truth still lies. Come back to life, you're not alright. Whoa, blind eyes, I find that I can handle this denial. I scream my name, it seems I thrive. Remind myself to pray. Believe I'm gonna stay. I'm slipping away, slipping away. Feel the ice going deep inside of me. I'm slipping away, slipping away. I'll be okay. Ice stars, the cold will end. Never again will I let you in. Ice stars, the cold will end. Never again will I let you win. Ice stars, the cold will end. Never again will I let you win. Ice stars, the cold will end. Never again will I let you win. Wash through my frozen skin, needles laced with feeling. Once numb the light I shun, come back to life, you're not alright. Whoa, relapsing from the past, my house of cards is beaten. I scream my name, it seems I lied. Remind myself to pray. Away, slipping away, feel the ice going deep inside of me. I'm slipping away, slipping away. I'll be okay.
Scarlet Canary in the studio. Indeed, that song was called "I'll Be Okay." And again, that's off of the album Spectrum.
Perspective.
Perspective. My bad. I
No,
didn't
you're
have
good.
the-
This is kind of Spectral as a
It's
song
kind of
on
the
the
same
album,
deal.
so you're close.
Indeed. Great stuff, man. Awesome stuff. It is Scarlet Canary, one half of Scarlet Canary, the good half, I guess, Marcus and Hannah. Indeed. Yes, indeed. You guys, thank you so much. Make sure to check them out. They're going to be doing 3 shows this weekend. Not a big deal for these guys. They're going to be at the Zodiac in Colorado Springs on Friday. That would be tomorrow. Saturday, Cafe Acoustic in St. Joseph, Missouri, and then right on back here in Greeley, in Greeley at the Moxie Theater, opening up for the Butcher Babies. Good stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming on in. I'm gonna kind of play us on out with this last song called Misery as I say our goodbyes and all that stuff, because why not? And of course, Misery, that's just self-titled, right? Good stuff, man. Let me break that down. All right, man. It is again milehighunderground.com, the Freeza Block Show. Make sure you check us out next week. We're going to have Dead Orchids in this. And thanks again so much, Hannah and Marcus with Scarlet Canary. Everybody have a great show. We'll see you next week.
Give me something to revive. Help me untangle what's been left by my prescription to survive. Oh, doctor, please help me. This misery or disease has infected me. Can't hold on tight. Agony hurts my heart and grind. Forgive me my weakness. I can't shake this feeling of misery. I'm sick of caring when your colors faded from the sky. Could I have slain your demons? Sedate the voices in my mind. You said you could save me. Oh, doctor, please save me. This misery or disease has infected me. Can't hold on tight. Agony hurts my heart and grind. Forgive me my weakness. I can't shake this feeling of misery. Eight letters, 3 words, 1 choice. I miss you. 8 letters, 3 words, 1 choice. I miss you. I miss you. I miss you. This misery or disease has infected me. Can't hold on tight. Agony hurts my heart and grind. Forgive me my weakness. I can't shake this feeling. I forgive you your weakness. I can't shake this feeling of misery.
All right, now it's time for the funnest part of the show. It's the part of the show where I make the talent that I've had in here. There we go. Now it's time for the best part of the show, the funnest part of the show, the part where I make the talent go ahead and cut me a liner. So I got these guys
You make the
practiced
talent
up. So
perform.
you guys, I do.
We're your monkeys. Make us dance.
All right, man.
No, you have to show them that you have to read it.
They've been watching the whole time. So
I know,
it's all
but
good.
I have to read things
It's all good.
because I can't remember anything on the spot.
all right, are you ready? Don't
Let's do it up. Don't mess it
bleep
up.
this
man.
up.
Hi, I'm Marcus,
And I'm Hannah from Scarlet Canary.
And we're melting it down to 0 on the Freeza Block Show on milehighunderground.com.
Excellent. You guys. How about a little fake laughter from both of you? There we go. That sounded pretty good, man. Fantastic. Awesome stuff, man. Good stuff, man. All right, man. Thank you guys so much again for being on in here.
Thanks for having us.
Again,
thanks for having us.
Check them out this weekend, and it's all good, man. All right, man. Back to your regularly scheduled music. We'll catch you again next week with Dead Orchids.
Anything you can to hide our loss for your gain. Everything to remind of the suffering, financial gain, disasters of all time. Yeah. I won't contribute to this self-inflicted, uncomfortable, elusive feeling. Yeah. I won't contribute to this self-inflicted, uncomfortable, elusive feeling. Yeah. All this media takes us and breaks us apart to sell us our pieces back so sure and made to feed on the lives of our own. I contribute to this self-inflicted, uncomfortable, elusive feeling. Yeah. Elusive feeling. Try not to watch TV anymore. I try not to read about what's going on outside my door. I try not to watch TV anymore. I try not to read about what's going on outside my door. I won't contribute to this self-inflicted, uncomfortable, elusive feeling.